we're gonna make some parm crusted eggs. Serve it up with some thin cut strips or tenderloin steaks, whichever you prefer. I've got a couple of beautiful sirloin strips here. Nice and thin, about a ½ inch thick. And I'd say 6 to 8 ounces is more than enough. And we're gonna do 2 eggs cooked on parm. The first thing we're gonna make though is our salsa verde. This salsa verde, I've combined basil and parsley. The difference between a pesto and a salsa verde is a little more acid, and it's a combination of both garlic and shallot or onion in the sauce itself. It's like a chimichurri. Let's start with the basil. So the basil, we're gonna tear off about a cup of leaves and throw it into our food processor. And I've got an entire bunch of Italian flat leaf parsley, so you want about a cup packed each of basil and parsley. So basil, all of our parsley, 1 bunch. Then we're going to throw in large shallot and a couple of cloves of garlic. I coarsely chop the shallot, even though we're throwing it to a food processor. You don't want to throw a whole shallot in there. The machine will have a tough time breaking it down. Then we're going to add the juice of 1 lemon for a nice bright citrus flavor. Squeeze the lemon cut side up to keep the seeds with the lemon and not down in your sauce, of course. A fat splash of balsamic or white balsamic vinegar. And good olive oil, EVOO, baby. I'd say about 1/3 to a 1/2 cup for each batch of this that we're making. And you're gonna put in salt and pepper, of course. And then we're just gonna fine chop this into a sauce. Whenever you're cooking meat, bring it to room temperature first. Season it liberally from up here so you can see what you're doing. Season it liberally with kosher salt and black pepper before you ever throw it in the pan. And let the salt start to bring out the sugars in the meat. It should look like it's perspiring a little. All that is gonna make for the best flavor and the best crust on the meat itself. These are very thin. They're only gonna cook a couple of minutes on each side. Season them on both sides, of course. Throw them into a hot skillet, and away we go. Let the meat cook for a few minutes before you even check to see if you can move it. If you try and move meat before it's crusted and developed the caramelization, you're gonna tear it. You're gonna have uneven cooking. Then you let the meat rest before you slice it, or all the juices will run out, and the only bite that'll be tasty is the first one. When it comes to the eggs, what you're going to make is what's called a frico, F-R-I-C-O. A frico is just a big cracker made out of melted cheese, in this case Parmigiano Reggiano. So you get your pan over medium-low to medium heat. Cover the entire bottom of this small skillet. This is a little 8-inch skillet, which means the bottom of the pan is about 5½ inches, or about the size of a couple of eggs. Cover the entire bottom with an even layer of grated parm. The parm, as it starts to melt, is going to become the golden brown bed for your eggs. You then very gently drop your eggs up on top, and they'll cook on the crust. Now we need to trap all of the heat in there. So you take a lid, or I have my little silicone covers, put the lid on it and let this cook gently until it's done soft, medium, or hard, however you like your fried egg. See how it's all just golden brown, crispy parm? It's delicious. So the most important thing to remember is when it's done, when the yolks look as done as you'd like them, my husband likes them just like this, easy. Let them set for a good 2-3 minutes, turn the heat off or pull the pan off the heat, and let them set just so the frico starts to chill a little bit on the bottom and set up for you. And then slide a thin spatula underneath all the way around, and it falls right out. And make sure, of course, you use a nonstick surface to cook that on. So we've got our parm crusted eggs on there, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we put a beautiful little thin steak alongside. And these were thin strip steaks, but you can use tenderloin, any lean piece of meat, whatever has a nice price on it. And then I take that salsa verde and I run it all over the plate. I put the parsley and basil sauce, and I like it on the eggs too. I really do. I think it's delicious on the eggs as well. So you scatter your salsa verde around, and then my husband and I, we love hot pickled Italian cherry peppers. So we sprinkle those all over the plate just to kind of finish it off. and a little steak knife, and there you go, brunch, lunch, or dinner.